Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of 5withFraze. Again, super excited about today's guest. What hasn't this person done? So, this person has competed in athletics for my country, my home country, Wales. This person has also been an actress. This person has also been a model. I kept seeing her face in Sports Direct everywhere I went on pants. And now she is a fitness instructor for the world famous brand, which is Peloton. So a massive welcome to Hannah.
What's going on, Fraser? You're right.
How you doing? You
I'm
okay?
good, thank you. I love the little comment about the being on loads of boxes of underwear, which I believe is still out there.
They're still there.
They're still there.
I still see them.
That is still there. I did that shoot about more than 10 years ago now, and they're still rolling with it.
And yeah, your eyes are watching everyone everywhere they go in Sports Direct.
In
So if
Sports Direct.
if you've not seen them, look out for the pants. How you doing? You all right?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming.
This is fun.
I'm excited. I hope so. I hope you're gonna.
Well, it's the furthest I've ever come for anything, as I said before. This is very south. I'm pretty notoriously don't come to South London. So this is the southest of London I've ever been.
You're gonna spark something off talking about South like that. You know that, innit?
I don't even mind. Going strong.
Where are you repping?
I live in East. I live in East London. Yeah, and I couldn't imagine living anywhere else, to be honest.
Yeah, you're representing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand up for South East.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm here. You made me come all the way here, so yeah.
Made you come. I feel I'm humbled. Thank you so much for coming.
No worries.
So, obviously today is all about having meaningful conversation that hopefully will help at least one person that's at home watching. But we start the show with some icebreakers.
Okay.
So are you ready for question number 1?
I think so. I don't know what you're going to ask me, so we'll find out.
So question number 1. If your life had a theme song, what theme song would your life have and why?
I would pick a song without words. Maybe like a 90s rave song. Maybe something like Sweet Harmony. Because it kind of, do you know what song I mean?
No.
Da 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 da.
No, I don't know it.
Oh, everyone's got to look at. I just feel like it fits a lot of different scenarios. Do you know what I mean? Good scenarios, but lots of different scenarios. And I feel like I've been through lots of different chapters, and they've all been very good. But there's not one song that would be able to describe them. So I'd need one song. Like I'd need a
that can cover all
song
the
that could cover all ground. Yeah. So one without words.
And those dance moves fit.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's different stages in life. Yeah, you gotta be able to represent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I can just imagine. I can have a 90s theme, you'll be multicolored.
Or the on the flip side, maybe like a drum. I feel like my head sounds like drum and bass a lot of the time. So maybe a drum and bass song. It'll be out of like a 90s ravey song or like a big dirty drum and bass song.
Interesting. Drum and bass, that's intense.
I love drum and bass.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Banks, not a Banks song.
I love Banks as well. But like I said, I wouldn't want something with words because I feel like words are distracting in songs. Do you know what I mean? You want something that's just... You want to like think of what... I feel like music makes you feel something. So I'd rather go with the feeling than let people listen to the words. I'd rather let my life do the talking.
All right,
and the song just be there as like atmospheric noise. Oh, it sounds like I've thought about this before, but I promise you I haven't. That sounds like
It sounded very scripted.
Sounds like I knew it, like, yeah, no, never thought about it.
Good answer.
Thank you.
All right, question number 2.
Okay.
What flavour of ice cream would sum you up perfectly?
That's probably different to like my favourite ice cream.
Let's have both.
Flavour.
I want both.
Do you know what? Yeah, I love to try it. If I'm going to a new place, I'll always get their vanilla. Yeah.
Okay.
You looked really sad about that. You look really sad about
The way that you hit the first question, I was ready for some
but
extravagant answer.
when you say ice cream, I always think vanilla ice cream. But then if you say like, what would I be like to describe myself?
To describe you, yeah.
I'm tempted. I'm tempted to say rum and raisin.
That was in my mind.
Really?
As well. Yeah.
I am tempted to say rum and raisin.
Raisins, though.
Because it's a little. I know it's got you got fruit in there. You got something maybe like mildly, decently
Healthy.
not terrible for you.
Okay.
Mixed with something that's a little bit naughty. You know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Naughty and healthy
I think we should just
vibes.
stick. I think I should begin. That's the beginning, middle, and end one. Not as good as my first answer, but I would say rum and raisin. And anyone can do the thinking on top of that.
And vanilla's your favourite?
Yeah, I love a vanilla ice cream.
I'm just lactose intolerant. I can't even. It's bringing up traumatic memories for me. Developed
Don't
it
do
as
that.
well. Yeah,
Yeah,
lactose-free ice cream is it's not the same.
Yeah, but it's not worth it either.
I've taken some risks before.
Okay.
Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. Someone told me once that lactose is a mindset, and if they're watching, I would like to confirm that it's not always a mindset.
No, it's a reality.
Yes,
it's
sometimes it's a reality.
Yeah,
Right.
I could imagine.
Our last icebreaker.
Okay.
It was just Halloween.
Yeah.
So if you were to wear a Halloween costume for an entire year, every day of the year, what costume would you choose?
Probably. It would. Do you know what's quite funny? Whenever I'm not very good at Halloween. Like I'm not really like. I don't go big, but I have like. Do you know one of those all-in-one, just a black tight all-in-one?
Just black. No character. Just.
Well, the best thing about that is it. I've used it for about 4 years for about 3 or 4 different outfits. It's been a cat. It's been Storm. 1 year I got like I had silver boots on with it and like silver ears, and I was like, I'm a space cat. I don't know. Like I feel like you an all-in-one. I'm thinking about going to the gym. Weirdly, when you said that, I was like, right, I've got to be going to the gym. I've got to be working. I could work in an all-in-one, and I could use it for an evening time outfit as well, and I wouldn't look that like dramatically out of place wherever I was. I feel like you could probably get away with it in more scenarios than if you chose a stronger outfit.
So just to confirm, for 4 years you've been rocking up at Halloween parties, recycling the same outfit.
Yeah.
I rate it.
Yeah, I'm not really like a big Halloween person. And my friend, well, there was I have a friend that will make me an outfit. He loves Halloween, so he'll make me an outfit. There was 1 year it was very specific. I went as Tina from S Club 7.
Yeah.
It was a very specific outfit for like a Huns night. But outside of that one very tight all-in-one is given everything it needs. One day I'm a cat, next day I'm Storm. Space cat. I don't really know if it can find it. I don't know where I go after space cat.
There's multiple uses, and you can still go to work and do a bit on the bike.
Yeah.
No, I like it. Right, how you feeling? You settled in?
I'm settled in. Settled in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So as you know, there's sort of five main questions.
Yeah, 5 big questions.
5 big questions.
They are big questions.
I hope they're good questions.
They're big questions. They make you have to think.
That's what this is all about.
They're very thoughtful questions.
Appreciate that. Thank you. So, how are you feeling? You ready for question number 1?
I'm ready for question number 1.
Good. So question number 1, Hannah, still feels weird. I never actually have called you that before.
What? What?
Hannah.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah.
Wait.
That's an icebreaker as well. That would be my final icebreaker.
Yeah,
I was going to say...
You get a question back.
Are you going to be honest with everyone as to how we know it? Like, I know you haven't said we know each other, but we know each other, Fraser.
We do know each other.
Have you got the guts to say how we know each other?
So, yes.
You can say no if you don't want to.
Definitely. It was my 21st... Yeah, this is... You set yourself up. you
we can tell it from 2 angles. We'll do it really quickly.
Right.
You do it from your angle, I do it from mine.
My 21st birthday, I think it must have been about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, getting on a night bus in a very merry place with loads of my uni friends at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we come up to the top deck at the back of the bus, and there you was, and all me and my friends were like, how you doing? And then I think we were talking to you and you were like, I'm a model, and then I was.
What did? Okay, carry on. Sorry, you carry on.
And then I think the story was I was a model, and then I was very drunk and the freckles, and it was freckles from then on in, really.
There you go.
Wow, good. Does that sum up how we met?
Yeah. That's how we know each other. Yeah, from the night bus.
From the night bus. In Elephant and Castle.
But I think that's a testament to you as a person and to how I'm here today. Like the fact that was when you were, I mean, that was what, more than 10 years ago now?
About 10 years
ago.
That
was a long time ago. But I always have very good memories of you. Like, you were always lovely. So I think that's one reason why we're able to do something like this. So that's the first message to anyone. Don't be horrible to people. Just be nice.
Oh, so important. Yeah. So important. So yeah. And then we had that connection, you know.
We dated for a little while.
We did.
We dated, Fraser, for a little while.
We did.
That's what I mean. And you were very nice. Like, even when we didn't talk anymore, like we haven't spoke for a very long time. But even the fact that we can see each other out on a night out again, we saw each other on another night out recently.
Yeah.
And we can speak to each other. There's no bad blood. I felt like everything's cool, and like I'm more than happy to do this for you, because everything I'm seeing you do on your socials is amazing. So I'm more than happy to be here and talk to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's a testament to you.
And you was the sort of older woman at the time. This is what we're doing. This is what we're putting it all out on the table.
Okay, right. You really took it there.
We're putting it all out on the table.
You really took it there. Okay, right.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah, that's fair. I remember talking to my cousin when we first started talking, and she was like, "Oh, how old is he?" And I was like, "He's 20. And she was like, 20, and I was like, no, just
21.
Just 20. But I remember this. I remember saying to her 20. She was like, 20, and I was like, now there's no other number. He's just 20. I was about 25 at the time though. But like, just to make that clear, it's not like I was in my 30s and you were in your 20s, or you just turned 20.
No.
It wasn't that big of an age gap, but I'm older than you. Yeah.
You don't look it.
Yeah. Thanks. See, you're really nice. And Fraser, you were very nice. Like I said, I've always got very good memories of you. I remember you came to pick me up from my house. Not many people do that. Not many people will do something like that. You came to pick me up. You were always very nice.
No, thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate you for coming in. And
okay, we're ready now.
It's all out there. So
yeah, now that you don't have to.
I think we've already got the answer
Hannah.
to the first question. No, I can do freckles now.
Okay.
I think we can. I think I know the answer to the first question now, because everyone just heard it. But question number 1, okay, is you get a 24-hour day to relive exactly as it was. Like, what day do you pick? Why do you pick it? What does it look like? So we've heard a lot about the night bus.
Yeah. Would it have been before that? It would have been a day, probably maybe a year before that, or in the year before that. So I really thought about this, and sometimes, you just want to say the first thing that you think of. Like you said, I used to do triple jump. I wanted to go to the Olympics. I'd spent my childhood, teenage years, all the way through uni, all the way through after uni, competing. Like, it was all I wanted to do. And in my final year at uni, I remember there was a massive competition that I really wanted to win. And I put so much energy into that one competition. Like, I had a poster on my wall of the distance I wanted to jump. And I got a lot into like the psychology of sport and movement and just life, really. So I'd read a lot of books about how important it is to like see things in your brain before you do them in real life. And I don't think I've ever really said this before, but like, I visualized this one competition so many times, like down to a T. Like, I think I recorded it on my phone and listened to it like more or less every day when I was at uni. I would hear what the track sounded like, and I could smell it, and like everything. It's like I'd seen the day a million times in my head. So when the day happened, it was the strangest feeling. People say like visualize how powerful visualization is. To this day, I've never felt it more powerfully than that one day that I jumped the furthest I ever jumped. So I would go back in time and have that. I mean, it's not even a whole day. I wouldn't even need the whole day. I'd just take me back to those 15 seconds where I jumped the furthest I ever jumped. I think the mixture of like actually realizing how powerful my mind is, combined with like actually winning the competition. I won as well. I actually broke the record that day as well. I broke I think it was the under 23 national record, or the record for the competition. So it was like the British champion.
No?
Well, it was. This might have been before I started representing Wales, because I didn't. I'll tell you how I know, because that personal best was before I started jumping for Wales. So I think, unless anyone Welsh has come since me and jumped further, at the time I was like the Welsh record holder, but it wasn't my best jump. It was a jump that I did the year after I did my best jump. So even I'm better than I was. I'm better than Wales. I'm better than I was for Wales. If that makes sense.
Easy what you're saying there. Easy what you're saying
But
there.
I don't know. Someone might jump further. But it's funny that my own personal best isn't my best ever jump for Wales, but it is still the national record in Wales. If I can make that make sense. But yeah, that one competition, I would just go back, and even the way it played out, I've never like woke up. Ever since that day, in fact, I've never woken up and just thought like, I know what's going to happen today. Like, it was so clear in my brain. Like, I remember people saying like, oh, all the best, I hope it goes well. And I just remember being like, having this like really sound confidence in myself that I was going to win. I'd be like, don't worry, I got this today. I was like, how do I like, it wasn't even cocky. It was just like real belief. And even the way the competition played out, like there's a girl that beat me regularly. Laura Samuels, shouts to Laura. Absolute boss, like one of the best triple jumpers in England and the UK. Not Wales, that's me. But I think I was in the lead, and then she took the lead. And I remember like the little voice in my head being like, maybe it was about to say like, maybe again, it's just not your day. And I remember being like, no, like clapping and being like, no, I know this is my day. It doesn't matter. Like, no one's jumping further than me, and 2, I'm going to jump further than I jumped. And I did. Like, I think from that day, I've actually been afraid of what my mind can achieve if I put my
everything into
it. It's a scary day, but I would love to go back to that day for all those reasons.
And how did it feel? The score went up, you won, all the mental like rehearsal you've been doing paid off. Like, what was you walking around like? Shoulders were high. You don't,
because I knew it, like because I'd seen it happen so many times, it kind of is just very content. You kind of don't even get excited because you're like, well, I kind of knew this was going to happen.
You believed it that much, yeah?
Yeah, like I think I just believed it, and I mean, I never jumped it again. I never did it again, but like in that one moment, I was like, I don't really feel like there was any other way that this was meant to happen. So yeah, just more than, not even like excited, just very content.
It's an unbelievable achievement, to be fair, though. Congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, I didn't get to the Olympics, but
you got further than a lot of people could ever dream, though.
Yeah, I did. That makes me think like the amount of thought and effort I put into like my whole athletics career. I think everything I did was everything I was supposed to do, and the distance I got and how far I took it was exactly where I was supposed to take it. Like, there were things, I know everyone says like, if you want it, you need to want it like with every sense of your being. My mum always said to me, go to college, go to America. Like, why don't you go to America? I was like, nah, I don't want to. So, you know, when you're like, if you want it hard, if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way to make it happen. I think there was just a little tiny bit of me that wanted it, but maybe, like I can say this now, like just didn't want it that much, like didn't want it to, where's the level? Like I would never have moved to, I don't think I ever would have moved to America. So that's the sort of like, you know, like.
I think that's good. I think a lot of people will walk around like, I definitely do with certain things, like what if you went for it more? Like what would it have been like if I wanted that 100%. So I think that's quite a nice place to be at with it.
Yeah. I did everything I could do that I wanted to do. But everything I wanted to do, I did it with my whole, with my whole being. Like, as far as I was willing to take it, I did it with everything I had. Yeah. So I can't look back and be like, oh, I didn't try. Like, I did. I know I did. So yeah.
And achieved a hell of a lot.
Yeah. And it spurred me on to so many other things that I can never, like, I owe so much to a sandpit. Yeah.
Different type of sandpit, but yeah.
Yeah, I owe a lot to sand.
Interesting. Right, thank you so much.
That's okay. Did I get it through question 1?
You're through question 1.
I made it. Okay. I'm good.
Drink
I'm
of
good.
water. I should have a drink of
Just
water.
drink of water. It's the right thing to do. Cheers.
Question 2.
Question 2.
Question 2 is, you can go back to one specific moment in your life and tell yourself one thing. Where do you go and what do you say?
I'm going to try and keep it current because I feel like I can keep going back over the athletics and all that. Like, I would say I'd probably go back to my training when I started training for Peloton. So I don't know, some people don't know what Peloton is or how big it is, especially in the UK. So when I started, I was definitely in that camp. But the reality is that Peloton is one of the biggest fitness streaming platforms in the world. There are millions of subscribers. Like, our rides can hit up to 50 to 100,000 like riders at a time. We have a lot of access to a lot of people, and we are motivating people that we don't know all over the world. I think when I first got to Peloton, I don't think I really understood the magnitude of what I was stepping into. And especially because where I was at in my life, I don't think I took it seriously, but I don't think I fully understood how big and how important my job was. Like, my actual, like, the job to motivate people. I don't sometimes think I fully understood how big it was. So I did my training in New York. I went to New York for about 2 and a bit months.
Nice.
This is like, I'm at a point in my life where I don't know. I was staying with my cousin. We'll get onto that. I was staying in my cousin's spare room, and I didn't know how I was going to get out. I was like, I can't live in my cousin's spare room forever. How am I going to get out? And then through that year, through 2019, Peloton got in touch with me and I got the job, and they sent me to New York. I don't even think I was someone that ever thought I would go to America like that. Like, I don't know what else would have made me go to New York. But here I am in the middle of New York. They put me up in West Village, which is like someone dropping you in Notting Hill. So nice. I'm off the back of not having a clue where my life is going to, here's a big company that is going to send you out to America, to New York, to train. I was like, just buzz. I was so buzzing because something good had happened in my life. I've kind of thought, in a way, I kind of thought maybe it was like a full stop. Like, I made it, it's done. And it's like, if I could do anything, I would run up to myself in New York, strutting around, swishing my hair, like skipping along the streets, and just say, like, take this, like, have fun. Yeah, have fun. But what you're about to do, like, I think it's a little bit like drop your ego and listen to everyone and everything to do with this job you're about to do, because you've got the chance to change so many people's lives in ways that you don't even understand yet. Like, yes, it's amazing that you've got it, but you need to keep moving. You ain't done. This is literally just the beginning. So whatever happened in the past, put it to bed. This is a brand new chapter. Let's get to work. Because I think I had a lot of fun in New York. I had a lot of fun in New York. Yeah.
Ego is interesting because I was just been having quite a few conversations around around ego and how it can serve you, how it can work against you. How was it showing up for you then, without this advice that you'd have given yourself? I like the role play, by the way. You're breathing heavy and everything.
Wait. So from now, if I didn't,
where you said you'd go back and tell yourself to drop your ego and appreciate the opportunity you've been given, how was your ego showing up for you at that time?
I think I was just a bit cocky. I think I thought I was really good at teaching spin classes in my studio, like in the studio I was at. And I even to this day, I mean, I still would say I was good. I used to sell out the room and I loved being there. So I was like, I need to train, but I know what I'm doing. I know how to do a good class. I do it every day. So I wish I'd just listened, like allowed myself to listen more. And I think sometimes when we've done something a million times, we don't think we can. Sometimes if you let your ego, especially ego, get in the way, you think you can never learn anything new. And I think I had a little bit of, how am I going to learn anything new from these people? I think there was a little bit of that in my brain. And I think a little bit of me didn't even want to learn from these people. Whereas now, I wish I could go back to myself and say, these are people that have been doing this. This is like nothing you've ever done before. Like, you understand a bike, but you don't know how it's going to work on a screen. You don't know this. Like, take every opportunity to talk to every single one of the people, like every single one of my now colleagues, for as much as you can, to get as much knowledge, and just try harder, just talk to everyone a bit more. I think your ego sometimes protects you. Like, I don't think I was ready to even admit that I needed as much help as I probably did, or I probably should have taken. So I don't even know how I would have responded to me coming up to me and being like, drop your ego, chill out, have a good time, but also really knuckle down and do it in a different way, I think would have been my advice.
Where was the turning point in that for you then? Because I always say, like, life humbles you. You didn't get to run back and tell yourself, like, where was the turning point where it was like, okay, yeah, now I realise I need to learn from these people. Now I realise this is bigger than what anything I've done before.
Probably only now. Probably only now. Like, I've been at Peloton for 5 years. So the people that I would have met when I started, they'd been instructing for 5 years. So I think, like, when I think of all the things I know now, if someone was starting the job and they didn't want to ask me questions, I'd actually be like, that's hilarious. Like, if you think that you can do this job and not talk to and not learn from other people, you've got this all wrong, because it's not just sitting on a bike and listening to music, and there's so many other bits to this job. And I think the fact that we can reach, so by the way, do not get me wrong, I take the role very seriously, and I always did, especially like as the years, like the second I understood, like, yo, I'm talking to a lot of people and they're listening to what I'm saying. I would make sure everything was as good as I could possibly make it. But that's the thing, like, sometimes there are still things that I could have learned from other people, and I think I just probably I cut myself off and prevented myself from listening to what other people have to say. Like, even if I didn't take their advice, it's still, I think, like I said, I just think sometimes people think they know everything, but you can learn. Even if you think you know everything about something, you can speak to someone and learn a new perspective. And it's always important to keep learning and always stay humble and have your ears open and listen to the way sometimes people do the very thing that you do. I don't know. I just think it's not good to think you can do it all by yourself and just like lock yourself away.
Definitely. And I think it's easy to fall into that trap if you've done something thousands of times.
Yeah.
To walk around and feel like, oh, well, I've got this nailed down. But then there's coming a moment where there's like, oh no, there's another level to this, and it's from learning from someone that's done it in this platform. So it makes sense. It makes
Especially
sense.
as like there are not many people. I mean, there's not. If we just talk about the UK alone, there's only two female instructors on the bike. Like from Peloton has been in the UK for 6 years. My colleague Leanne Hainsby has been the only other female instructor on the bike other than me. Like we're the only two girls in the whole country that do what we do. So it's crazy. Like we need to learn. Like now, especially now that I've been there for more time, I definitely ask her more things and try to get her perspective on how she's done things. Because sometimes you're like, with everyone at Peloton, like it's hard to talk about it when people don't know what it is. But you know, there's lots of different personalities on the bike. So everyone does. We can all do the same thing, but we all do it completely differently. So sometimes it's like, me and my colleague, for example, are completely different. But it doesn't mean there's not things that I could learn from her and there's things that she can't learn from me. So I think just that, I think if I bring it down and condense it into one word, it would be collaboration. It would be like, don't be scared to collaborate with the people that you're about to meet in the company that you work for, because that's where you learn and grow and find new and maybe sometimes easier ways to do the thing that you are already doing.
And so we've got collaborate and we've got ego. Two massive words which kind of lead me into question number 3.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Have another drink. So question 3 is probably the question that means the most to me personally, but it's about like power and strength.
Yeah.
And what those words like mean to you now, and when maybe an example of when you feel you've shown them in what they mean to you.
Do you know what, right? You obviously sent me the questions before I got here, and every time I've thought of this question, I'm going to be totally honest, I don't know if I have an answer. I think that's one of the hardest questions to answer, because I think the two things show up in so many different ways at different times and mean different things. I think it's like an evolving word. It's a doing word that I couldn't even. Sometimes I've really tried to think, how do you knuckle down and say what power is? I think power comes from like sometimes like belief in yourself, like belief in other people, belief in communities. So yeah, like it's a very hard question.
It is a tough question. And it's something that I'm working on now. So it's why it's so important to me. As I said the last time I shot this, I feel like I had it very, very wrong, but would die on my sword for it. And I think it's quite it's quite interesting that you feel that it's evolving, so it doesn't necessarily need to be defined, and it can change from situation to situation, from phase of your life to phase of your life. So when I say those two words, is there like a memory that comes to mind where you're like, at that time, that's definitely what I would define as strength or power? I look at that memory and that through that lens.
I can't think of one memory, but I always think if I see like, this is gonna, especially because you're like, if I see them two words, I always think of like women, or like at least energy. Like being a woman feels very powerful, and I think all women have a strength that can't really be verbalized. But sometimes I think if you want to not make it about women and men. It's like energy. I think sometimes in society we don't like to big up like feminine energy, and I think it's the most powerful thing in the world. I don't think the world would move without feminine energy. It's not to do about men and women even. It's about men having that like the feminine energy in like nurture, care. Like it is what you said. It's like strength and power, but it's just not in the way that we use those two words. So like, yeah, I think being a woman is probably one of the strongest and most powerful things I get to have in my life.
Yeah,
Which is really bad.
No, I think, do you know what? It's interesting that you say that because, and I was having this conversation at work, it's like you will advocate for a battle, like whether it's racism, it's equality in some form. And for me, although I'm raised by a woman, is something that I've been sort of quite lazy with. Like, oh yeah, women, I'm a single parent household, so instantly, but no, completely. Like, I didn't even see their struggle till very recently. Like some of the films I've watched, some of the books I've read. So it's something that I'm trying to educate myself on now. So the fact that you've come on there and said that, 100%, I agree with you. And then again, the ability for men, and it kind of ties into what my problem has been, the ability to show feminine energy while still feeling like a man is so important. And I think it holds us back.
Yeah. And I say that as someone who probably has leaned, as a woman who has probably leaned into masculine energy like a lot in my life. Like even like athletics it's like, you know, it's a power, it's like in terms of movement, it's a powerful event. I needed to be like practically strong and powerful, but the feminine side of those two words are completely different to that. So I feel like I know it as well because I've lent into the other side of it for a long time. And after that as well, like after athletics, like through my life, I think that sort of energy was what would push me. And it's like, it's very like, it relies on ego. It's like we just said it, like it almost like relies on ego. And I think it's very hard to even know the difference. It's only when I don't know how, that's why I'm saying like, I don't know how to verbalize it, because it's not really something you'll know unless you get there in your life.
Faced with that situation, yeah.
And there are some things I think that need certain energies, and life will kind of push you into one or the other. But being allowed and being like able to tap into a more feminine, I think it's like a very relaxed state. Like it's nurturing, it's caring, like it's birth, it's the world. Like I think the world is a woman. Like I don't care what, always feminine. Like I don't care what anyone says. Like I'm like gonna die on my feminism baggy. It's like nothing would really run if people didn't believe or tap into like pure feminine energy. Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. And as I said, it's something that I'm working on now. So I feel like you've come on here and said this today for a reason. So thanks for that. You're over that marks you being over the halfway mark. How are you feeling?
I don't know. Wait, I want to know what you would say. So what do you think power and strength is?
So for me, I feel like that you're talking about feminine energy. I feel like toxic masculinity has had me in a chokehold for a long time with a lot of things, like personally, like when I was diagnosed with anxiety, the thought of like it being a weakness and then not showing it, and the fact that I needed to be strong, I needed to show no weakness. I can't have a panic attack, and that fueled the anxiety, because then you're fighting this panic attack. Whereas if I just say, oh, you know what, like it's now, or can you open the window? Like I feel a bit claustrophobic, and actually being open and honest with those emotions, to me now, that's strength. Like just being open and honest. And in relationships, this whole notion of like not showing emotion, not wanting to engage with those feminine sides, where it's like now my whole mindset is in any relationship with a man or a woman, I want to be me. Like I want to have emotions. Like I don't want to hide from those. Like strength and power is not being like chest out, the loudest in the room, or looking the most secure. It's I feel this way and I'm going to be open and honest about the fact I feel this way. And sometimes I feel good and sometimes I don't feel good.
Yeah.
And so that's what it's been to me. But that's a very recent shift.
Yeah, that's why when you said like one example, it's kind of like what you just said. I feel like we have the chance to show power and strength just by like getting out of bed. Sometimes it's just like getting up. So I think it's like, I think in like what you just said, I think maybe I believe that it's a day-to-day thing. It's like it's every day of your life. Like, whoa, we have so much power. Like every single person is so powerful and is so strong.
Yeah, how you can make yourself feel, how you can make others around you feel.
Yeah,
it's insane. And when you start that taking that into account and you walk the world like that, that's powerful to me.
Yes,
which is what I'm trying to change now.
Yeah, you've got to believe in the person you are, and I think maybe in my past I've always done that. So when you're like one moment where you're powerful, like I'm not saying I feel it every day, but like I've always been quite secure in myself as a human. So I feel like you said, like there's power in just being who you are and not being swayed by what other people do. So I feel like in that respect, like it's like I said, like, it's belief, and it's like just believing in who you are and trusting who you are, that who you are is enough. Like just to step out and say, like, can you just do this, please? I need this, and just not even to even worry about what anyone else says. You got this. We've all got. Well, I hope I've got this. I don't know.
You got this.
I don't know. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes we don't feel powerful, do we? Like sometimes it's the opposite.
It's part of being human, and that leads us into question 4. Because on like when we look at it, your career's been hugely successful. As I said, you've been in the top 1% in sport. Then you've been on a big screen. You've been on pants, as we discussed earlier. So obviously on the outside looking in, it's a journey that goes like this, and it's what people would give their left arm for. But question 4 is about sort of maybe a time where maybe on the outside it looked like that, but in reality it wasn't like that on the inside. Like maybe a time where you've experienced some real challenges. So what were those challenges and how did you overcome them?
See, when you say that, I'm a very like transparent person. Like if I'm going through something, I don't think I'm very good at hiding it. So mine was, if anyone in my life at the time that knew me, what I went through was very obvious. Like everyone knew, like, oh gosh, she's going through it. Like I wouldn't give anyone a rest. Like anyone that would listen, I would run my mouth. But I feel like I should preface mine by saying that like I grew up and my parents were together. So I had that security there. They're still together now. My parents are like in love, like annoyingly in love. I had a birthday party and everyone was like, your parents are so in love. Like we had like a big party and my parents were like dancing with each other and everyone was like, your mum and dad are so cute. So like I had security there. I grew up in Essex and, you know, I had no trouble on my door. Grew up in Essex. What were you look like you're going to say something there.
I thought it was East London.
Well, I grew up in Essex. Well, I'm Romford. I will fight. I will never say, now I live in East London, but I will always say Romford, Essex. I know some people are trying to say London now. I will say Essex until told otherwise by someone that lives in London, you know. But it was okay. It was secure though. Like there was nothing. Like there was no drama on my door. I didn't like. There was it's cool. Like where I lived was cool. School, cool. My family, cool. Again, like very secure. Everything was like secure. I think maybe that's one reason why I did athletics because I had such a solid upbringing and such a solid foundation that I could go and find challenges elsewhere in my life. So I sometimes credit my to my parents and my upbringing because I know not everyone has it that easily. So sometimes I'm a little bit embarrassed about the thing that like rocked me the most in my life. But I think it probably comes back to that, in that like everything was very secure up until that moment. So I hated that it was a relationship, but it was. So like me and my partner at the time, we were engaged, and you kind of think that's it. We were engaged. We'd bought a flat together, so both our names were on the mortgage. I tried on wedding dresses. We had a venue. We did the registry. So like everything was like, I think sometimes I say it and I don't give myself credit for how far it actually got.
You know what was very, very far down this
we had
road.
a date. Like we had a date. Yeah, we had a date. Sometimes the world works in miraculous ways, because we found a venue and they wouldn't let us put the deposit down because they were changing hands, and the company was changing over to a new company. I don't know. They said like we can't take any new deposits, so we kind of like rested on finding a new venue. After we broke up, the venue came back to us and were like, "Hey, we're retaking bookings and we can still do your date." And we were like, "Oh my gosh, so glad we didn't put the deposit down," because we didn't, like, in terms of money, like we didn't really, like, it could have been a lot worse. But yeah, so I was in a relationship, engaged, bought a house. We had a house together. Let's just say something happened that wasn't necessarily my decision, and it really pulled like the rug from under my feet, probably like for the first time in my life. So like where I said I had so much security, it was the first time in my life where I just felt like so insecure, like at every angle of my life. Like I thought about who I was as a person, and I was like, I don't know if I'm a good person. I don't know if I'm a nice person. Like I don't believe in I don't like myself anymore. Like what's happened? Like why does no one like me? And I'd never thought of myself in that way before. Like I didn't know where my future was. I didn't know how my future was gonna look, and I had done quite up until that point, you know, like we both worked together as well. So it was like, how do I navigate? Like, it was just like everything it wasn't going to be the same anymore. And I was in my late 20s as well. I was turning 30. So at that time, it would have been it's lovely if everything, like you said, just keeps going up. It was embarrassing as well. I felt so embarrassed. It was just like, the best word to use was just insecure. Like even financially, I didn't know how I was going to get out of a mortgage. Most people haven't even got a mortgage at that age. Like I think we bought our flat together when we were like 27, 28. Most people don't even have figure out how to do it. I had to figure out how to get someone out of a mortgage and then take it on my own. So there was all these things. I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to live. Like I genuinely don't know how I'm going to live. Luckily, I had a really strong foundation. So my cousin let me go and stay. Like I stayed with my cousin, which was amazing. But yeah, I think if I could, if I could describe how that felt, I was so, it's just like insecure. Like even when I talk about it, I can feel like my stomach go, ugh.
I can only imagine how challenging that was. But obviously, as you said, things did turn around from there. So like, how did you pull yourself out of that? Because that's massive. That's like a massive change in your life. So how did you sort of turn it around from feeling so insecure, the financial problems, you're working together?
Yeah.
How did you?
I don't think I actually dealt with a lot of it very, very well. Like when I look back on it, I was like, I was bad. Like I was, it's just like your emotions. And like I said, because I don't think I had anything that made me feel that insecure before, it was like on 10. Like I was going into work, like I was ready to fight. Like I was just like so emotional. Like any negative emotion was just like me in a bubble. It's like in a bubble. But the only place where I felt great was when I was teaching spin and when I was with my clients at the gym and when I was working out at the gym. So it was like a place for me to like let my emotions out. And also it felt like I'd hit like the bottom. Felt like there was no more bottom left to hit. So I think, like you said, like where you're scared of being your whole self. Maybe when I was teaching my spin classes, at the time, I was myself. But after the breakup, after my breakup, I just thought, you know what, I've got absolutely nothing to lose. Like, I'm already embarrassed. I'm already ashamed. Like, I might as well just be my whole self in this room. And I think people relate to realness. So I think I was probably quite annoying. But I think I got up in people's faces and I was loud. But I think people respected that I was like my whole damn self in that room. And it allows other people to be themselves. So I think using it as a rock bottom to be like, look, nothing ain't getting worse than this. You might as well just... might as well just be yourself. Yeah. Like, literally, you might as well just be yourself. And I really enjoyed the dark room as well. Like, I used to teach spin, you know, like typical dark room. And then there'd be moments and we'd turn the lights off and have like an emotional song. And the amount of times I cried, like it was pitch black in the room, so no one would know. But in that one song where we like turn the lights off, oh my God, the amount of times I cried. But I respect the energy as well. I always say this, like the people in the room I feel like we shared energy, and all the negative energy I had, I always felt like I could like take other people's positive energy and like their appreciation for what I did for them. And then in return, it became appreciation for what they did for me. I really respected that these are people that have just come back from work. Like, who wants to really, like, planning to exercise after work? I respect people that do that. Like,
That's an impossible task.
As the instructor, I'm like, look, I've not done what you've done. Like, I can't believe you've done all that. And then you're going to come and do my class. Like, it was like all this like humbling, but feeling like I was getting better and being myself. It was like all this, it was everything in one. And that's strangely when Peloton came along they came to my class. They came to my class on my 30th birthday, which was the day that I was like, do you know what? Like, I'm doing okay. And when I say I'm doing okay, I wasn't really doing anything okay to the point where I should probably have felt as okay as I was still in my cousin's spare bedroom. I still didn't really know how I was going to leave my cousin's spare bedroom. I was making okay money. I'd brought my ex out by that time. So the mortgage was in my name. And I think I felt quite proud of that I could do that. That was through like just saving my money, like a lot of my modelling. If I'm honest, it was a lot of modelling money. But I could have spent it, but I saved all of it, and I was able to buy him out. So I respect myself for that, and I think I respect my hustle at that time. Like I said, though, I don't think I dealt with everything really well. But in terms of just keeping it moving and keeping on going, like I really did. Like I was just like, I need to keep going. So on my 30th birthday, my executive producer from Peloton was actually in the room. I was like, look, I was promised a party, so I'm going for it. Like I really felt like I'd made it in life. Like, I don't know, nothing confirmed this, but I was just like, I'm doing so well. I had like bottles of champagne on my bike. And then after that, a producer messaged me and was like, slid into my DMs and was like, we'd love to talk to you about Peloton. Would you be happy to come in for an interview? And then it all started from there.
So super quick, just because we've got the last question coming up. But just as I know this was a few years ago, have you done anything sort of to process it or deal with it since, or is it on the to-do list?
That's a good question. Now you're gonna have to change it to 5withFraze.
I feel like that's a follow up. I'm allowed to probe. I'm just curious because it sounds like a lot. A lot.
I feel like because I went into survival mode. I was like, I just need to get through this. I think there's a lot of like emotions that I didn't process properly. And I think even when I said I'm embarrassed that this is the hardest thing I've been through, like, I don't think I need to be embarrassed, or it's not my fault that this is the hardest thing that I've been through. Like, I think I've sometimes looked at what other people have been through and been like, that's a lot worse. Like, shut up. It's just a breakup. Everyone goes through breakups. Get over it. And I just like powered my way through. But I think it's taken me this long, probably up to like this year, to look at some of the patterns and some of my behaviours and been like, wow, I don't think I really did process the emotions of it. I just kept on moving, got a good job, and thought, well, I've made it, haven't I? Like, I got the flat, I got a good job, everything's great. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't mean that you've processed what happened, or
Okay, so possibly some stuff to work through, sounds like.
Yeah, well, ask me your last question then.
Oh, it's feeding into the last question. Apologies. I forget, you know where we're going with this. So the last question, you've made it to question 5. Well done.
Hey.
5withFraze, question 5. How you feeling? You okay?
I'm all right, you know.
Good. So question 5 is like the biggest sort of pivot or change moment for you. So something that's happened that's completely changed how you walk the world. Talk to me about that.
I feel like obviously there's been a lot of different chapters to my life, like exiting athletics and kind of like being lost, not knowing like who I was, having to kind of like re-identify myself, because I put a lot of like who I was rooted in athletics. So that was a whole thing. Then I went from that to feeling like I found a little new identity in being with someone. That was a whole thing. But I think what I'm going through now is so different because nothing has actually really changed for me to want things to change. There's two ways you make changes, right? They either come at you and you don't even know they're going to come, or you have to consciously say, no, I'm gonna change something. There's something going on that, not even right or wrong, not even like this is right and this is wrong. It's just, I want to change this thing, and actually going out of your way to make a change. So like I'd say, I think it was about this time last year, I started going to therapy, and even, like I said, I didn't want to even, I felt bad for going to therapy, and we didn't talk about my relationship for so long, but I think it's taken me this long, up until probably this year, to like really process how what I was in changed my behaviour, to realise that I have the power to change it again. So this year I've done a lot of things. I really wanted to like get back in community and feel like I feel like I did a lot of work in the past to like myself again. I think I left like maybe when I was on my way into Peloton, just trying to like myself as a human again. And I've established that now, but sometimes that isn't enough. You can't just like yourself in isolation. You have to put yourself around other people to really know who you are. So this year I've really put myself into new communities. So I joined a choir. I told you before, you went to choir.
I didn't expect it. And like the singing voice, and
that's the best thing about choir. You don't really
you get
have
away
to be
with
able
it.
to sing.
You hide.
Yeah, you don't really have to be able to sing. You just have to like hold the notes. And even we have this thing called wrong and strong. So like even if you sing it wrong, just do it with your chest. Just do it with your chest.
Can we get a little preview of what you've been learning?
They're all Christmassy at the moment. It's Christmas, isn't it? I don't want to make the podcast not evergreen.
Right.
I won't, for the sake of your listeners, I won't sing.
Right, mate. Send us a clip.
I'll send
us
you a clip.
of the whole choir.
I'll send
in
you a
the
clip.
back.
Yeah, like with the support of my choir. Yeah, but it's been really nice because it's given me a different. Just allowed me to be a different version of myself. Like be someone that weren't. I don't know. Like it's such a minor thing, but it's big at the same time. So joint choir. I go to volleyball now once a week.
I've seen that the serve still needs
I
some
need
work.
to practice my serve. I actually used to play for England when I was really young.
Another achievement.
No one really knew that. You wouldn't think it if you saw the way I played now.
I've seen it, and I'm blown away by the fact that you've made that claim.
It's not great. It's not. I'm not even gonna nibble. I'm not even gonna go there. But yeah, it's been. I think this year I've finally started to like really unbox how I feel about my relationships with other people. And for me, it's been like mending a lot of relationships. I think I've been quite angry. Like I've had like a massive guard up. So I found it hard to trust a lot of people. But I feel like this year I think I've done really well at mending that. And from that, I know I'm a better person for it. So it's not like I think sometimes we think you've got to have all these massive shifts, but sometimes it's like tiny. The tiniest shift can make a massive difference. And that's where I feel like this year has taken me.
So thank you so much for sharing. That's actually
all right.
Perfect end to the show. I really like that. And yeah, really appreciate the journey that you've been on. And yeah, we're speaking about change and not being able to make someone change, and it's got to come from within. So
yeah,
very interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah.
So how you feeling? You've made it to the end.
I've made it to the end. I hope someone can take something away from that, because it's not just about just chatting about what you've been through, just to chat about it. Like sometimes you hope that something lands with someone and they want to make a change or do something different in their lives as well.
Yeah, I hope that someone's out there watching. All it takes, if we help one person get 1% better, then I've achieved what I set out to.
You've achieved something.
And I know that you've come on to do the same thing. So yeah. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
So you ready for the last part?
What's the last part?
It's a sign off.
Okay.
So you get to leave maybe the one viewer. I don't know how many people will see this, but you get to sign off 5 with Fraze with a bit of advice, a quote, a saying that could help a person's day get just that 1% better.
Do you know, I don't like to always think about this because I feel like it always changes. Like wherever you are in the moment, it always changes. But right now, I'd say like, don't. Time is your best friend. You know what I mean? Like use your time wisely. Like give yourself. I would say give yourself time, like undistracted time, because there's so many distractions in the world. You can't figure things out with all the noise. You have to give yourself time as a priority, whether it's 20 minutes. I mean, I think an hour. I think everyone should be able to give themselves an hour, like undevoted time. Give yourself time is on your side. Time is your friend. Believe that it's there. Find it. Make it. Give your self-development time. You need time. It's very important.
Definitely. I'm sure that will help someone.
I don't know. It's so basic after everything I've just said.
It's nice. It's short. That's what it's meant to be. That's what it's meant to be.
Give yourself time.
Perfect. Right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's been a pleasure. And I have no doubt that this is going to help someone at home. And it means the world for me. You coming all the way from east to south.
I'm never coming back here again.
We're creating a war with what you said.
I'm not coming back here again. Don't want to see Morleys ever again in my life.
Right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.